Yes.
I'm really not trying to trick you. I know I wouldn't be able to. Would you agree with me?
All right, everybody, it is Rational Geek Driver here, and I'm coming to you today with a special live here, I guess you could say. And I was debating whether I was going to do this in video form or whatnot. And I started filming the video, and I said, you know what? I think I'll just do this series, this live, and announce what's going on here. So as of right now, I've been working on this, and I made a decision that I wanted to go to 100%. I'm using Earn by Time to get to 100% acceptance rate. I wanted to collect data all the way up, and I've made it to 94% so far. And it's not been without some trials and tribulations, to say the least. But I wanted to do this because I really feel like, you know, a lot of people are not making money right now, and they're like, I need to get up there to the top ARs, let's see what it's like. So I said, you know what, why not do this? So I'm going to take you guys along with me. So we're on an order right now. We've already made $22.88 today. And I'm just going to go live, and as people can come in and see and check things out and breeze through, I'm using the vertical live. I'm going to use one of my phones and document this whole experience, because once I get to 100, my goal is to stay at 100% for 30 days and collect data as a 100% dasher for a 30-day period as DoorDash's absolute top dasher in the Platinum program, in the programs that we're in a small, well, it's somewhat small, in a rural market that I think fits in much better with other dashers out there, other markets out there, because a lot of the content we see on YouTube comes from cities and metropolitan areas, and that's not necessarily the majority of where DoorDash is operating in. So you're trying to apply things or see things in a bigger market. You're saying, oh yeah, look at this. There's, this guy's making $300 a day. Is that really feasible in a rural market? Now, I am not just going to use DoorDash only. My goal is to maintain 100% while also using Uber, Grubhub, Spark, Instacart, my normal array of apps. And I'm going to do it live, and I'm going to show you the experience. I apologize, guys. I'm driving my area. It's a rural area. The internet's going to cut in and out, but I'm going to be documenting my everyday, and then I'm going to go do a series of live shows where I'll show you my figures and my stuff. And I just wanted I wanted to contribute this, because I feel like today we need to answer some of these questions, and we need to do it in the most honest fashion that we can, and just show you what it is. I'm not here proclaiming to you, I'm not, sitting here to say, hey, I'm making $50 an hour doing DoorDash, because that's not realistic. That's not how it's going to be. I'm going to show you what it is, and I do this. I've done this full time. I'm at almost 5,000 dashes, so and a couple thousand on the other apps. So I've done this now for a couple of years. So I figure, you know what, I'm going to come out, and I've always been a cherry picker. I've always been somebody who sat down and cherry picked until recently, and then I started experimenting with how can I keep my acceptance rate up, and I've done that for the last year. In various formats, trying to maintain top dasher. Then Platinum came to my market, and now I'm like, you know what? I've got a theory. And then once I do 30 days at 100%, I want to see exactly what that gives me. Is it worth it? Do I kill am I going to drive 6,000 miles? And again, I have a lot of comparative stats, so I'll be comparing things along the way. And maybe I'll break. Maybe I'll say, you know what, I can't do it. But you guys will see it. So this is day one. Like I said, as of right now, I'm at 94%. And I'll be showing you I'll show you my orders. I'm going to show you everything. as we go. So, anyways, now with that, I'm going to turn the camera, let you guys see some of the sites in my market, and you guys can see and verify that I am in a rural market. You can see we're down here in the sticks, man. This is where we go. This is what DoorDash is going to do. And we'll go over a few methods I use and things I use. Like, for instance, one of the keys to maintaining your acceptance rate high is using your worry-free cancels. You've got to use that. You've got to use your worry-free cancel completion rate to maintain your completion rate, because DoorDash now has a 90% requirement. Now, they didn't just throw 90% in. A lot of people would say, oh, DoorDash is, you know, requiring 90% to be accepted. Well, it wasn't done without them giving a tool to the Dashers. On any order, you can cancel the order without any impact. At least in my market, and I've been in several markets around me to see if it's available. It's been available in every single market. I've been in PA, Maryland. I work in the following markets, so you will see that as we're working together: Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia. Those are the 4 states I work in on a continuous basis. I will fluctuate between the two. Depends on what I'm doing, where I'm at, what's going on. And I will fluctuate between those states. But we are, like I said, we are at 94%. I've been accepting every single order, and I'll go over how that's been. The last shift I worked, which I did not work yesterday, being Thursday, I worked Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday. And I had an okay day on Tuesday. Made $215. The miles were not great on that shift. At least to my standard, I think I drove at about $1.38 a mile. Now, Wednesday was another level of terribleness. I went from like 70. I think I was at 76% acceptance rate to start the day, all the way up to 94%. And it was dog shit trash all day long. I made $160 and drove 190 miles. It was terrible, but I was committed to it. Now, one of the reasons why I drove so many miles is I made a decision to switch markets because I was frustrated with the market I was in, because even at the high rate, I wasn't getting orders. So I switched, and that was a big mistake, and it was just terrible stuff. So I ended up just ending early. Normally I try to go to $200. That's my goal. And today we got started at 11 o'clock, little after 11. Like I said, we've made $22.88 so far. So we've got a long road to 200 today. We're going to keep grinding it and going to try to get there. But, it's not easy sometimes when you're out here, especially when DoorDash throws some garbage at you. Or, like I said, one of the things when you're doing earn by time, if you haven't done earn by time before, and this is something that I think DoorDash should address, and that is this: if you get caught, all right, we're back. So again, stick with me, check back, flip back, because again, I know I've got some connectivity issues where we're going, because it's AT&T sucks out here. So it is what it is. But whichever. That's the other downside to an order like the one I'm on right now, and that is I have an order. They're not going to send me something all the way out here, so I'm going to have to travel all the way back. It's one of the things that I have noticed really sucks, trying to get to 100. Now, when I get outside of this month, okay, when I get outside of doing a month, 30 days at 100 days at 100, so let's say it's 100. That's my goal. I'm going to try to maintain. So let's say it's 100%. That's my goal. I'm going to try to maintain 30 days at 100. So let's say it's 100. All right. Let me kill that right there. I was just checking myself. So it looks like I'm back on, guys. I apologize, but update on where we were at. All right, so we got a very nice payout, $14.56 payout on that. So not bad at all. Um, in terms of earn by time, I've seen a lot worse. I've seen them sling me out that far. So we actually almost made $2 a mile on that order, believe it or not. But they put us way out here, so we're not getting an order as of yet. But it was driven in part by the $7.50 tip from our customer. So hats off to the customer for tipping $7.50 for 2 subs. That's exactly what it should be. My opinion is, anytime you ask somebody to deliver something to your house, food, otherwise, $5 minimum tip. That's it. Now if there's an issue with the service, if I'm impolite, if I don't do things right, adjust the tip afterwards. You can call in the support and say take the tip out. But $5, if you're wondering, if you're a customer that comes across this stream wondering, hey, what should I do? $5. That's it. $5. Now you want to do a little bit more. Understand this: if you're doing an order that's like a big order, and then a driver is going to have had to invest more money into their equipment, so I would say $10, double it, right? So for instance, if you're going and you're ordering, a $300 meal from somewhere, and you want to make sure it gets hot to you hot, and understand the driver is making an investment in their business. So at least $10 or more for that. Maybe even consider just do 20% or 10%, whatever, you think you could stomach. If you were in a restaurant, you'd be doing 20% for the waiter. This individual's, now, yeah, we're using our car, but again, if you've got a really big order, then to get your order to you and make sure that you're not getting some slacking driver who doesn't have appropriate bags and appropriate equipment, you're going to have somebody who's invested in probably a bag that's costing them at least $50, depending on where they're buying their bag from. And if somebody's taking pride in their business, and that's who you obviously want when you're getting a large, expensive meal delivered to you, especially say you're getting from a sushi restaurant and you have hot and cold items. I have hot and cold bags. I have bags that are sectioned off. I'm keeping my cold items in a separate bag, separate area that will maintain that temperature. I'm keeping my hot items in another. I'm keeping the drinks in another. If you're ordering drinks, consider all of those ideas, because if you don't put a tip on there, or you don't put a tip that's of value, DoorDash is going to prioritize you to a driver who isn't necessarily going to take the pride and isn't going to take the time to get you the order in the best form. So understand that there is representation, and I understand as a DoorDash customer myself, I will order from time to time for simple experimentation purposes to understand what's going on with the DoorDash experience in my market. I know there are fees. I know it costs money. But at the same point, too, you're trying to get a kitchen-to-table experience without you leaving your house and having to be in charge of that. So why do you want to put that in the hands of somebody who's going to be pissed off when they see there's no tip? And we kind of can tell. Now, if I'm on earn by time, I can't tell. But what I can tell you is that DoorDash will prioritize those higher tip orders to the earn by order drivers that do have the equipment necessary to make sure that your experience is going to be top notch. So it's just a little heads up to bring bags. We're getting close. I can do a good area. We're coming out of this. We'll be sent back to the sticks, but we are definitely getting closer to civilization where the internet gets better. So now we're at, for the day, for those of you wondering, we are at $37.44 for the day. We are heading, we're right now, DoorDash is claiming it's 1 to 5 minutes to get an order, and I believe when we break through probably about another mile, this is where I'll get an order of some sort. It'll either be from the Burger King or King's Pizzeria. By the time, I've gotten 0 shop offers. I have not had to shop at all. So I will tell you this, if you like, and again, I don't know if this is true in every market, but if you enjoy not doing shops, Earn by Time seems to be the place to be. They don't give you shops. They just give you, the smaller. I have not really seen tips in excess recently. I think the highest tip I've gotten on Earn by Time thus far in this experience is about $18. And that was on a large order program that I did the other night. I finally got one. after a long day of garbage carrying for DoorDash. It was the rebalance time. Now today could be an entire rebalance shift because that's what it seems to me with DoorDash is it goes in spurts. It's like, all right, you're gonna have some time where you're gonna get shit orders, and then they kind of rebalance you. Obviously, they've done well enough to stay in this for a while. So, but normally Spark is a big driver, Instacart is a big driver. What I normally do is I use Grubhub, Uber Eats, and DoorDash to keep moving while I'm waiting for the unicorn shopping orders to come through. And they can be some big ones. I've got $70, $80, $90 shops on Instacart. I'll get $30, $40, $50 shops on Spark. And my acceptance rate on those apps is low. I'm not big, so I'll be using those apps to keep me moving, and that's a good strategy. Now I'm going to try to, like I said, with DoorDash, it's been so terrible. I want to see, can I get more out of DoorDash if I work it a different way? And I thought to myself, you know what, 100% acceptance rate is where we got to start. Never gotten to 100% acceptance rate. And probably there's reasons for that, but I feel like Earn by Time offers the best opportunity to do that. So here we are. We're passing the area I thought I might get an order from, which has a Chinese restaurant, King's Pizza, and Burger King. Nothing. Now Subway is up here. That's the place I normally get orders. DoorDash is always known for allowing me to drive past these restaurants and then summoning me back. So we'll see if they do something like that, or if they just continue to let me go towards the hotspot that they're telling me they have a 1 to 5 estimated wait time at, which is actually a hotspot that I work a lot. So we'll see. Now, a couple of other tips, guys. If you're driving out there, a couple of things I'm going to recommend to you. Number one, I recommend you get yourself an Android phone, specifically a Samsung phone. And again, this channel's big on that. I've got a lot of phones. I utilize a lot of phones to see what's the best of the best. Today I'm utilizing my Z Flip. I believe it's the 5. It's the latest one. They're coming out with new ones in July. But the reason being is because there's several things that really offer some really great features on the Android side that DoorDash doesn't have in their app on the iPhone side. One of them being when you get an offer, right? And I know this because I just spent about a week using my iPhone to get back and see what was going on with that. I just spent a week with it, and there were some frustration points and there were some nice points. You don't have any of the problems that you have on Android where like I'll have to restart the app or clear cache. None of those things are going on iPhone. It's pretty smooth. But there's a couple of key components that I think are just absolutely you gotta have these in order to get the best experience. One of them is clicking the customer's address during the offer screen, and it will take you on Google Maps directly to that customer. Now that's important for a couple of reasons. One, I want to see where I'm going. I want to know where I'm going right from wherever I'm at, right? Because I'm going to ultimately go to the restaurant and go to the customer's house. So if that tells me I'm 25 minutes away, especially if I'm doing Earn by Time, I want to kind of have that calculation in my mind to think, okay, what am I really looking at here? If I'm 25, 30 minutes away, I got to drive to the restaurant, I got to wait. I'm looking at basically whatever my Earn by Time base pay is. I can do a little calculation in my brain and go, okay, $7-8 base pay. What am I expecting tip? The second component I want to be able to do is I want to be able to have an idea if I've delivered to this person, what is their tipping habits like? Because one of the things I like to do is I will utilize Google Maps, because every time I get an offer, I'll click the address and it will throw to my Google Maps, and then I will come back in and I can use either the in-app, which I really hate. I've turned it off for now because it's been so terrible as far as they haven't updated their mapping systems. But normally I'll use the in-app just for convenience. But the key is getting that customer address into the database of Google Maps, And then secondly, it allows you to see if you deliver to them before, because you can put a little label on it and put whatever your previous tip was with that customer. And that will give you an idea of, hey, what's this customer's tipping habit like? If they're a 0 tip, a $2.50, a $5, a $6, a $10 tip, you want to know that, because you can kind of then do a pretty quick calculation. Like earlier today, when I got my first order of the day, I recognized last time I delivered to this person, it was on the Earn by Order platform. I got a $10 tip. It was a Chick-fil-A order. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I looked it up and I recognized the customer. I said, okay, great. I know this customer's a tipping customer and they tip pretty well. Sure enough, turns out they ended up tipping $7 on a Baconator, it was $6 on a Baconator combo meal, right? So I was like, okay, that was great, because it ended up I ended up getting $7 and some change on the base pay side. And I was like, okay, that's great. So I got $13 out of that order for just delivering a Baconator combo out of Wendy's. But I knew right away when I hit accept on the order, and I'm debating, am I going to wait for this order? Am I going to sit there? Am I going to, how much time am I going to be willing to invest? Is this a risk that I'm going to be dealing with a no tip customer or a customer that's low tipping? How far am I willing to go with this thing? Or, would I use a worry-free cancel on this customer? Maybe try to find a different customer. Those things you do. But on the DoorDash side, on iPhone, you can't throw your addresses into Google Maps automatically during the offer section. So you've got to do extra steps. You've got to actually physically take the time to screenshot it, type it in, or I was using Apple Maps, Google Maps, and as far as just doing it, so it would automatically throw it in there. But it's an extra step. I can't see that information right away when I'm making a decision. And to me, that is something that is key to making a delivery decision. Do I want to deliver to this customer or not, based on their past tipping habits, based on their last tip that they gave me? And again, to me, that's just valuable information. So when DoorDash takes away the ability to click in, and I know it's got to be probably iOS doesn't let you do it, so it's just an iOS thing, but that's a big difference to me. So I want to be able to have an Android phone that's capable of doing those things smoothly and efficiently, which is why I recommend you get a current or a last model, and I have both. I keep them to keep testing them and see how things are going. For instance, I have an S23 and an S24. I have a Z Fold 4 and a Z Fold 5, right? I've been up testing those constantly as I'm using them into my workflow to make sure and see what's going on. I haven't done a lot of reporting on this channel on those items because I've kind of just fallen out, but like I said, I want to get back to doing that, bringing that to you guys. But I'm using it for myself to kind of understand and to try to have the best experience while I'm out here working, when I'm out here working. But anyways, we are heading now down towards the central hub of this market. DoorDash, I believe, has us on a self-imposed timeout because we made too much money. DoorDash will do this from time to time. This is what you call a pause. The app's telling me, hey, and we're going to go back. I'm clearing the cache on my app because sometimes things don't update or see what the state of the market really is in. But DoorDash is telling me I should be having an order in 1 to 4 minutes right now. And guess what? I haven't got nothing. And I'm in the area. And I'm in a good cell phone zone. So that's telling me DoorDash has absolutely 110%. And now they're telling me there's no internet connection. So I don't know what that's all about. All right, let's go back in. So maybe I'm just having connectivity issues. Which for me, that just means I'll just get another phone out and test it out. And I have all the phone carriers. AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon. Those are the 3 major ones. So when I need to, I can flip them. I can keep a SIM card for Verizon in my car, so that way if I get into an area where neither AT&T nor T-Mobile is working, I can very easily flip it out and switch it out. And these are things that you should be doing yourself if you're out here working in the gig world, you know. And again, it's small investments. My Verizon line only cost me $15. I got 2 GB of data on it. I don't use it much, but it's in addition to my cable. So for me, why not? And it's a $15 write-off every month. I keep the SIM card locked away in my stuff. So, I mean, I have it and I've used it. And every time I use it, and I use it to get out of a jam, and it saves me a hassle, it's paying for itself, in my opinion. And then on top of that, normally I would have a phone attached to that SIM card, but my son is also on that, uh, on the Verizon network with his phone, and he decided to destroy his phone, so he's using my work phone on that now, temporarily. And eventually I might get another phone associated with it. I don't know. But for now, I just have the SIM card and this phone is unlocked. Sorry, this phone is unlocked, so I can use this with any carrier. Now my other phones are all under promos, so I'm not paying a lot of money for the phones. I pay for the service because you can write off the service. You can write off the purchase on a one-time basis, but or a portion of it, but the service you can always write that off. Anyways, all right. So Martin's is our spot right now, 1.2 miles. Now, sometimes when you get on a pause like this, it requires you to end your dash and restart your dash because, like I said, DoorDash gave me some good payouts. So now it's like, okay, you're over here. We're not gonna deal with you right now. Even though I'm gonna show you guys my stats. I'm gonna take the time to show you my stats so you guys can see for yourselves that I'm not bullshitting. Um, I'll show you the stats exactly where they're at, and you can see for yourself. I'm on Earn by Time, and we'll get to that in just a minute, unless we get an order. But yeah, it would be certainly nice if we could get something going here, as opposed to that's it's neither here nor there. Make sure we're still up on. No, we're not. And Okay, so Grubhub turned us off. All right, had somebody lollygagging across. All right, so let's turn on Grubhub here. All right. All right. I apologize. It's kind of for the reflection. Let's see if I can turn this up. I don't know if it'll help or not, but all right. So we're turning Grubhub on. All right, there we go. Turning Uber Eats on. Uber Eats has already been on. All right, great. I don't have Spark on yet, but I think I'm going to turn it on. And you can see here, now we're going to go in here. Let's just check everything. We're checking live, make sure we don't have any contract violations or anything crazy like that. So far, so good. So you can see 94% acceptance rate. All right. And then we have, oh, there we go. We got something. So Papa John's, pizza bag required, 5.6 miles. Now watch what I'm going to do this, demonstrate this to you live. Let's see if we've delivered to this person before. Not that I've documented. All right. So we got a 16-minute drive. Now we hit back. And then we're going to, of course, screenshot it. And then we're going to hit accept. So it said 5.6 miles. Now that's added in, okay. Or at least it should have been. That's fine. Oh, you know what I have to hit? I didn't do one step. I forgot while I was on there. You got to hit directions for it to get added in. So there it is. Okay. So anyways, but there's the steps, and again, and then if you hit the direction button really quickly before you go back, it will load it in. So I've got to go in here. I'm going to turn this back on my face here. I don't want to show. I know I kind of showed the customers stuff, but I don't want to. So what do we got here? We got a 14-inch original, 5 CRP packet, 5 Parm packet. I think that must be 3 pizza cups and 1 ranch cup. So I think it must be a bunch of. It says 15 items, but I think some of those are not. I don't know. I need to double check this. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's a bunch of like. Yeah, that's a bunch of like packets. Boy, that's a deceptive one if you were looking at the order, the item count. Anyways, okay, so let's go in here and let's look and see 2485. 485. Okay. Yeah, okay. Oh, I delivered here the other day. Well, not to this place, but to one of their neighbors. Okay. All right. So it's loaded in. So it says 6.2 miles. Technically, it says 5. DoorDasher's offering this at 5. Um, let's see here. All right, I'll take you guys on. I'm going to turn you guys around and let's go to Papa John's. And let's go pick this up. I think it's one pizza with a bunch of packets and shit. I don't know. I don't know what the hell how they're going to fit all that on their pizza. I mean, Jesus Christ, they got like 5 Parm packets, 5 of this. I mean, maybe those are all little side items, but I don't think so because it says packets and cups. So, anyways, so once you do that, you load it in. I have that address loaded in, and then I'm going to put in the specifics here. I can put a label in now. So I'll add label, and I'll do, I always add it in on whatever the program was that I did last, either EBT or EBO. Put the date, which is 6/14/24. And then tip amount. Now it's ready to go, and then that way, when I get done the order, I can just go in there and quickly fill that out as part of my post-order work. And even if I can't, even if I don't get a chance to, it'll be sitting in there, and I'll know I didn't do it because it'll be it'll have no tip added in, so I can go back in and look when I'm doing my post work review or post shift review things. I could go in and look and fill in the ones I need to fill in, and I'll know exactly which one it was for. Going back and looking at the address or looking at the time that I did it, I'll be able to go in and look back, cross-reference it with my sheet that my spreadsheet that I keep. So, yeah. But anyways, this one I'm anticipating because, and again, I could be wrong, I'm anticipating we don't see a higher than $5 tip on this order. It's a pizza order. Pizza orders tend to have higher tip percentage. A lot more customers tip on pizza orders than they do on other orders because they're conditioned to tip on pizzas because pizza delivery's been happening for years and years and years. So people will do it. It'll say Uber is sending us something. See if it's heading in the direction we're going. And it is sort of, but it's it's Taco Bell, but it's 825, 10.1 miles. We're not going to worry about it. It's a trip radar. But I always find it funny because Uber will, and I've looked it up and kind of done my research on it. Other people have agreed that these apps kind of look at your screen or are aware of what's going on your screen, and they will send you orders going in the general direction to kind of encourage you to create your own stack. And here it comes, of course. 822, 10.1 miles, but I'm not doing it. Not for that. And it goes significantly in the opposite direction, away from where I'm going, and I'm just not going to get involved for $8.22. Now, if that was like a large, that was an indicator that there was going to be a hidden tip on that, and it was a bigger order, and the Taco Bell's right next door, I might get involved in it. It might be worth my time to try to make it work. But the stress you have to worry about when you're doing multiple orders strung together on two apps, and that things could go wrong, and you may have to cancel out the one of the orders, or really I'm going to pick up the DoorDash order first, so that one's definitely going. But you run the risk of running late on the DoorDash order. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it at all. So, all right, guys. So, how you doing there, Caleb? All right, so we've arrived at the store now. We're gonna go pick up our 15 items, which is really one item. What the heck is a CRP packet? A parm packet, I would imagine, would just be parmesan. I don't know, that's weird. What is this person putting on their pizza, man? Anyways, it is what it is. Now I'm gonna update my facts here. I'll show you guys what I'm doing here. Got my trusty sheet here. When you're on Earn by Time, uh, I'm making a little extra when I'm doing my recording my stuff. Oh, good, awesome, Caleb. Well, I mean that's a good idea, because that's what a lot of people use this, and that's really what you should be using this for, is something like what you're using it for. Doing it full time, I think it's a little risky. Um, you know, I'm not saying people can't do it full time. You can. I mean, you do anything full time. But I'm saying I think it's a little risky. I think there's a lot of uncertainty out here, and you've got to have. My situation's a little, you know, I'm not relying on the apps to pay for my benefits and things of that nature. So there's aspects where I see this falling at for people is it's your 401k, and that's a great idea. Um, you're but it's definitely becoming more of a challenge out here, especially if, like I said, especially if you're relying on this. And part of what I want to see is DoorDash is making claims that the issue is, for uh, you're not accepting. A lot of people think, but my way, I don't. But my way, I don't. Need the Dasher way, the average Dasher's way of saying this is how it's supposed to be done. The amount of data, the amount of time this has been in existence, there is not a right way to do this. So there's a way that YouTube dashers tell you to do it, and then there's the way you decide to do it, and then there's the way that the apps tell you to do it in a particular way. And we just ignore them. And we just ignore them and say, no, we're not going to do it that way. We're going to do it our own way. Well, I'm going to grab my. I don't know. Domino's apparently has a partnership with Uber, and as out of that partnership, Uber is giving away a pizza bag and giving you $10 for pizza bag. And I'm about to use my new Uber pizza bag. So a little promo to that. Make sure you go into your Uber Eats app if you're an Uber Eats driver. Look in your end up, put my address in, and like 2 weeks later, Uber Eats who's summoning me right now. Let's see. Live. Like I said, my market internet is always an issue here whenever I go, but I'm going to try to do it, and I'm going to show you guys. One thing I didn't check, I'm going to check right now. All right, so we're still at 94%. That's what I wanted to check. Get the directions up here. Didn't go once. And that's because, again, the rolling 100 works is when you get to a high AR, and these little tricks like a rolling 100 AR, and any type of autonomy that you think you at a certain point where if you Oh, it's wow. So we may have to try to